tonight's topic is stop playing the comparison game. Stop playing the comparison game. And what I mean by that is what's in the title: comparison, comparing. When we compare ourselves to others, right? And I know it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. But it really can be very detrimental to our business, right? It can really hinder the growth and the development of your coaching and or consulting business. That's just the bottom line. But now don't get me wrong, comparing yourself to others, the deep, the underneath thought, if you will, or thought process or feeling or belief, let me say that the underlying belief to that is a lack of self-confidence, a lack of confidence, right? So I want to be clear about that. When you see other people and you begin to compare yourselves, compare yourself to like other coaches, other consultants, things of that nature, I want to be very clear that the underlying belief, right, is a lack of self-confidence, right? A lack of confidence in yourself, right? That's the underlying belief. Now, of course, in order to fully create an effective strategy to deal with that, right, an effective strategy to deal with the negative self-talk, right, and self-sabotaging behavior. So this falls into that category. Comparing yourself is considered, or I consider it, a self-sabotaging behavior, right? I consider that a behavior that will hinder the growth and the development of your business, right? So, like I said, that's the underlining issue there is the lack of self-confidence. But what I wanted to, so it's a lack of self-confidence. I'm sorry, I was listening to my son. But it's a lack of self-confidence. So I'm not going to get into that part tonight. I mean, there's other videos that I've done and that I will continue to do to talk about different ways to increase your self-esteem, different ways to increase your self-confidence, right? And the idea behind that is when you increase your confidence or your self-confidence, is that things or that negative self-talk and those self-sabotaging behaviors, right, begin to become fewer, right? Or if you experience them, it'll be for a very brief period of time, right? Because you will have, because of your increased confidence, right, your increased self-confidence, you will be able to have effective strategies in place to be able to utilize so that those negative thought processes and that self-sabotaging behavior, those things do not cause you to become stagnant in your business, do not cause you to be inconsistent, do not cause you to give up, so on and so forth, right? So I wanted to just mention that because I'm talking about comparing, and tonight's discussion or talk, if you will, is about stop the comparison game. So I just want to talk a little bit more about the comparison game now, okay? So again, just to reiterate, just to be clear, when I say comparison, what I mean is, for example, a lot of us coaches and consultants have a strong online appearance, right? A strong online presence. And we are online a lot. Therefore, I'm pretty sure you run across other coaches or other consultants, right, that you really like their style. You love their style, and their message and the way they deliver their message, it resonates with you, right? And you follow them. And a lot of times these individuals are either where you want to be or maybe just a few steps ahead, right? Maybe just got it maybe a little bit more together, or they have more things in place, like you want to, or maybe they have a considerable amount of more followers, so on and so forth, right? The idea is that these are individuals who we look up to, so to speak, that we see what they're doing and we want to be where they are, right? We don't want to be them, but we want to be where they are, right? And I think it's very easy to follow someone that you admire their style, and you really like what they have to say. You really think they're about business. You like the way they have everything set up in their business, right? And it's easy to follow that individual and to begin to compare yourself, right? It's just easy to compare yourself to others in general, right? Let's say maybe, you have a network of other friends that are coaches and consultants, right? And some of these individuals, you just follow them just to kind of see what they have going on, so on and so forth, right? So whatever they do, it pops up on your timeline and you see it. And sometimes it's easy to get into the habit of just like scrolling people's pages, right? Oh, let me see what they got going on. Let me, oh, they went on a vacation somewhere. Oh, okay. Let me look at those pictures from the vacation. Oh, they were, I don't know, speaking at a particular conference in Florida, right? And let me check out the pictures from that. Let me find out, who they were speaking for, who they met, who all was there, so on and so forth, right? And sometimes we can get kind of caught up in just kind of observing and just really taking a look and diving in just to see what somebody else is doing. And it could be very, and it's easy. It's easy to do. Once you do that, then you start to think like, oh, well, I wish I was doing that. Or maybe I wish I had that skill set. If this person is being invited to this conference and this conference and this conference to speak, right? And I haven't been invited anywhere, then you start to, you start to have a lot of self-doubt. You start to second guess yourself. You start to, and basically when I say second guess, you start to second guess your abilities, right? You start to second guess the message that you have to say. You start to just second guess yourself in general, right? As it pertains to, being a business owner or, a newer business owner. Or maybe you might compare yourself by saying that, oh, this person and I, maybe we started out together. We took a group class together, maybe back in 2018 or 2017. And, now this person, they have coaching clients. They have a lot of people following them. Every time I look around, they got a new program or a new webinar they putting out. I see people constantly commenting on their posts saying, hey, I'm interested. Hey, how can I sign up? Blah, 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 on and on and on, right? And you think to yourself like, damn, we started out at the same time. Why is that not happening to me? What am I doing wrong? Then we start to internalize it, so I think this is very important to bring up because I feel like it's extremely, extremely easy to do, right? And for some of us, this may be something that we struggle with all the time. For others, it may be something that we struggle with from time to time, or maybe it creeps up on us. Like if we have a point where maybe we're feeling a little discouraged, right? And as a result of feeling a little discouraged, you find yourself, scrolling through people's timelines, looking at this and looking at that, right? And then you begin to, it kind of compounds itself. It's reciprocal. You feel a little discouraged. You started, looking at somebody else's timeline. And as a result of looking at that timeline and seeing all these different things that they're doing, you're like, oh my God, look at me. I'm not doing anything. This is not going to work for me. What was I thinking? On and on and on. And sometimes we spiral, right? And like I said, it may not be ongoing, but it may be enough at certain times to cause you to be inconsistent, right? And that's the bottom line. If you are constantly comparing yourself to others, right? That has a tendency to make you, if you're comparing, the next step of that is why not this? Why not that? What am I doing wrong? Why not me? Why her and not me? Right? What am I doing wrong? Maybe I need to do what she's doing. Oh, she did this and that seemed to be successful. Maybe that's what I need to do. Let me run and go do that. Oh, she has a successful podcast. Oh, let me do that. That means I need to do a podcast in order to be successful. Right? So that goes into a host of other issues, if you will, that, that I talk about at different times, about trying to imitate people and finding your own style as an entrepreneur, right? Going down that path. But for tonight, I just want to talk about comparing. and getting out of that comparing game. Stop the comparing. Now, again, it's easy to do. I don't want you to beat yourself up about it, but what I do want is for you to be aware of it, right? It's for you to catch yourself, because the first step to making any sort of sustainable changes, sustainable positive changes in your life, right, is you have to first be aware of it. If you're not aware of it, then how are you going to change it? You have to be aware of it. I mean, there's a certain amount of steps, but you have to be aware of it. You have to accept responsibility. Excuse me, and be willing to change and understand that it's not going to happen overnight. You have to create a new pattern. Okay, so I want you to be aware of that. Again, comparing. If you find yourself comparing, I want you to become aware of it and begin to stop yourself, right? And again, it's going to feel weird at first. You may not even be able to do it, quote unquote, successfully the first, second, or third time. But the more you do it, the better you'll get at it and the easier it will become, right? And you will begin to identify your own triggers, right? At what times do you have a tendency to compare yourself to others, right? And you become aware of your patterns. And then at that point, you can really put an effective technique in place to stop you from doing that. Or when you do it, it doesn't, you don't stay there. You don't get derailed, right? You're still on track. You still are focused. You still are able to remain consistent. It doesn't put you into a depression, right? Or cause you to feel self-doubt. You might, for a minute, see something, compare yourself, and then say, hey, okay, let me bring myself on back, because the bottom line is, we are all different. We are all individuals, right? Even though somebody else may be a success and confidence coach, right? But the thing of it is, we can never be the same. We are different regardless, based on who you are as a person, based on your personal experiences, based on your professional experiences, based on your education, based on how you apply your education, right, to your work, to the coaching that you do or consulting that you do. It will never be the same, right? It will never be the same. And you have to realize, and this is part of what comes along with increasing your self-confidence. You have to realize that whatever you do, when you walk in your truth and, when you are authentic in what you're doing, that cannot be duplicated, right? It's not a matter of me trying to be like somebody else or somebody trying to be like me or trying to be like you. It's a matter of being your own true, authentic self and being true to that, right? And once you do that, you will begin to recognize all of the uniqueness that you have and what you bring to the table, right? You may be for some people, you may not be for some people. And that's just plain and simple. That's the bottom line, right? Some people, I don't know, some people like maybe handbags. Some people are just like diehard Coach people. That's all they do. Some people, Louis Vuitton, right? Some people, what's that other one? Oh, so I'm drawing a blank. Oh my God. Now that's gonna bother me because I can't call it right now. It's Louis. I know there's Louis Vuitton, not the Michael Kors. It's a Dooney and Burke, right? So each product, let's just say all of them make a good handbag, right? A good piece of luggage, a good wallet. But there are certain things that make those individual lines, right? Those, the individual clothing line or purse or wallet or shoes or whatever they make that is individual, right? That is customized to only Louis Vuitton or only to Coach or only to Dooney and Burke, right? And the thing of it is, they all have something different. They all have something that makes them unique, right? And it appeals to some people and it doesn't appeal to others, right? So when you look at yourself as a coach or a consultant, you have your own way about you, your own uniqueness that is going to come out every time that you speak, every time that you have an interaction with a client, the way you set up your website, the way you hold your group programs, how you do your webinars, how you show up online, your online presence, so on and so forth, right? All of that is going to come through if you just relax and focus on or don't even focus, just let it be you. Being your authentic self shouldn't really take any work, right? Unless you really don't know who you are, at the core, but that's a whole nother subject. But if you do, that should flow, right? That will flow through every aspect of your life. Let me get a check on time. That will flow through every aspect of your life, the way you show up in your business and your relationships, right? So try not to focus on it and just be you and let your uniqueness flow. And know that your uniqueness is going to either attract or repel people. And that's okay. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what's supposed to happen. So I want you to be aware of the whole comparison game, because it's so easy to do. And a lot of times we just be on autopilot and we do it and don't even realize we're doing it. But I want you to be aware of that. Be aware of comparing yourself to others, to other coaches and consultants, right? Be aware of that. Make it your business. Make it a conscious decision to be aware of it. And then once you become aware of it, make it a conscious decision, right, to switch up your behavior and to stop yourself, like get a hold of yourself, wheel yourself back in, so to speak, right, when you were doing it. Now, again, it's going to feel funny at first, but it takes a while to make a new habit. It takes time to create a new habit. Some people say 21 days. I know it takes time to create a new habit. So don't be too hard on yourself, but I want you to be consistent with it. And the more consistent you are, the more consistently aware you are of it when you're doing it, and consistent with making a change and pulling back from doing it, the easier and easier it will get for you. It'll become easier and easier to the point where it'll be like second nature to you to do that, right? Or to not compare. So I just want you to try it and notice that you will begin to see a difference in yourself, a difference in your thought process, a difference in your consistency. And the hope is that you'll begin to show up more authentically and consistently and more authentic when you show up, right? Because when you it's pointless to compare yourself to somebody else. Again, because going back to that principles, everybody is unique. Even though you guys may have gone to the same coaching school, got the same undergraduate degree, right? Both of y'all are women, so on and so forth, both African American. But the thing of it is, based on who you are, your life experiences, right? Your personal experiences, your professional experiences, and even your knowledge base, how you interpret that knowledge things that you have learned over the years, things that you have learned from working with clients, things that you have learned about yourself, is going to produce a different result in your coaching business, right? Just like all of their uniqueness, the way they grew up and where they went to school and what they learned and how they apply their techniques, right, is going to be totally different than the way you do it. Yes, there may be some similarities, but the thing of it is, both of you are going to be very different. And once you really realize that, as well as begin to take a hold of and an acceptance that your uniqueness is special because it is you, it is unique to you, right? You will want to be authentic and be okay with being authentic and recognize that that will draw the right people to you and chase away the wrong people, right? So just as simple as that. So I wanted to talk about that in terms of the comparison and to stop this whole game of comparing yourself. And I just think that it's so easy to do that now, especially in the online space, because people have people have an opportunity to present, what they want you to see, right? What they want you to see, or a particular image that they want you to grasp on or grab a hold to, right? And you never really know whether that's really accurate or not. And even if it was accurate, still, everybody is unique. We are all unique. We all bring something different to the table. So we all bring something different to the table. And like I said, with these snapshots, we just see snippets of people's lives online, on Facebook, on Instagram, maybe Twitter, whatever the other ones are out there. We see these snippets. And just keep in mind too, that these snippets are not, or don't have to be, an accurate representation of what's really going on with that individual, right? You really don't know what's going on inside that individual's life unless you are close to that person and they choose to tell you. They really choose to let you in, And I always like to use that example. Like, somebody could be doing a live. Oh, I'm at this banquet and I'm being honored and I'm so excited to accept this award, blah, 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 blah. And then maybe 2 hours later, when they get home at night, they crying themselves to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So you never know. You never really know what's really going on in a person's life, or with a person, unless they really choose to tell you. However, that's not what I want us to focus on. I just want to throw that out there because of how important social media has become. And everybody is so, oh, look at this, look at me, I got this, I got that, I got, you know what I mean? And that's not an indication of their true life and their world, and whether they're really happy, whether they're really content, whether they're really at peace. You are just seeing different snippets that they have decided to show the world, so to speak. But like I said, I want to focus on that. But I think it's important to mention. But I want you to focus on the whole awareness of not comparing yourself to others, and how damaging that can be. How damaging that can be, as well as stifling. That can stifle your creativity. And I'll get into that a little bit more in another video, where I specifically discuss creating your own style as an entrepreneur. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end it there. I've actually kind of gone over my time. I'm trying to keep these to like 20 minutes or under. So again, tag a coach, share this out. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comments for me. I will definitely get back to you. Or you can always, message me, instant message me if you like. But again, my name is Jacqueline Kaba-Harrison. I am a confidence and success coach. I'm so busy talking about self-esteem. I was going to say self-esteem. That was like on the tip of my tongue. But I am a confidence and success coach for African-American women that have coaching and/or consulting businesses. I help them to show up boldly, consistently, and with intention in their businesses. And what we do more specifically is we work on effective strategies, right? Effective strategies to eliminate that negative self-talk and the self-sabotaging behaviors that basically keep us in our own way, right? That stop us from up-leveling our business, right? So join me again on Thursday. I do this every Tuesday and Thursday, Evening Motivation with Jackie at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I share different tips, tools, techniques, so on and so forth, to help you be able to, like I said, show up boldly, consistently, and with intention in your coaching and/or consulting business. All right, so with that, I'm going to end. Thank you again this evening. Everyone have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you all again on Thursday. All right.